I'm Dr. Alan Mercer, now 77 years old. For over 5 decades, I've walked alongside thousands of older adults, and today, I want to say something few ever dare to. Have you noticed people sitting a little farther away? Your grandson doesn't climb into your lap like he used to. Your daughter-in-law opens the window and just says, "It's stuffy." But deep down, have you ever quietly wondered, is it me? Let's talk honestly. After age 60, your body changes in ways no one warns you about, and the truth behind the smell of aging might surprise you. The silent drift. Have you ever walked into a room, excited to see your grandkids, only to notice they quietly shift to the other side of the couch? Or maybe your daughter subtly opens a window as soon as you sit down, saying it's just to let some air in. These moments might seem small, easy to brush off, but they leave a strange feeling behind, like something's changed and no one wants to say it out loud. For 72-year-old Robert, it started with the little things. His grandson, who used to leap into his lap with joy, now stood at a distance, giving only quick hugs. His son rarely lingered after dinner, and his daughter-in-law, kind as she was, always seemed eager to clear the plates and leave the room. At first, Robert thought maybe he was imagining it, but then, one day, while making hot cocoa in the kitchen, he overheard it. A quiet comment from the living room, barely a whisper. "Grandpa has that old person smell." That sentence hit harder than anyone could have guessed. Robert had always been tidy. Daily showers, fresh clothes, the works. But that one remark, it shattered something inside. From that day on, he stopped sitting close, stopped sharing stories. He became quieter, more withdrawn, not because he wanted to, but because a wall had gone up that he didn't know how to bring down. And here's the thing. This story isn't rare. It's happening in homes all across the country, not out of malice or cruelty, but because something very real, very human, is silently pushing people apart, and no one's talking about it. There's a quiet drift that begins in so many families as loved ones grow older. And it's not because anyone means to distance themselves, it's just that something's different, and most people don't realize what it is. But what if that distance isn't emotional? What if it's biological? What if the smell of aging, subtle but powerful, is quietly changing how your loved ones respond to you? The truth is, after age 60, the body undergoes a chemical shift that can create a unique scent. It's not a matter of cleanliness. It's not something you can fix with soap or perfume. And most elders can't even smell it on themselves. But others can. And slowly, quietly, relationships begin to feel colder. In the next section, you'll learn the surprising science behind this shift and why it's not your fault. But understanding it, that's the first step in taking your closeness back. The smell no one talks about. So what is that smell? It's not sweat. It's not dirt. And it's definitely not about how often you shower. What you're noticing, or what others might be noticing around you, is something scientists have studied for years. It has a name, 2-non-enol. It's a compound your body starts to produce naturally as it ages. Most people begin producing it sometime after 60, and by 70, it's part of your daily chemistry whether you know it or not. Here's the strange part. You can't smell it yourself. Your nose adjusts to it, much like you stop noticing the scent of your own home. But to those around you, even those who love you deeply, the scent is different, unusual, and sometimes, honestly, unpleasant. It's not their fault. It's biology. And just like you can't control when your knees start to ache or your eyesight begins to fade, you can't control this scent without the right tools. What causes it? It's a mix of internal and external changes. After 60, your skin's natural oils begin to oxidize more quickly. That's just a fancy way of saying that as your body slows down, it produces different byproducts, and some of them smell. The compound 2-nonenal clings to your skin, your clothes, even your bed sheets. Regular soap often doesn't remove it. and covering it with perfume or deodorant. That can make it worse by creating a stronger, more confusing mix of smells. And yet, no one talks about it. Friends won't say it. Family avoids it. Caregivers whisper about it. Doctors rarely mention it. But everyone notices it. That's why it's so confusing, and why so many older adults feel like they're slowly being pushed to the sidelines without knowing why. They do everything right, bathe daily, keep their homes clean, wear fresh clothes, but something's still off. And when you don't have answers, you start blaming yourself. You feel shame, embarrassment, even isolation. But here's the truth. This smell doesn't mean you're unclean. It doesn't mean something's wrong with you. It just means your body has changed. And now, your routine needs to change too. Because the good news, there is a way to manage it. You're about to learn exactly what's going on inside your body and why that simple bar of soap in your shower just isn't enough anymore. In the next section, we'll explore how this odor impacts not just the body, but the heart, and what one overheard sentence did to a man's confidence forever. The emotional toll. It's easy to shrug off a scent. After all, it's invisible. It lingers quietly, without making a sound. But what it does to someone's spirit, that's the part no one sees. Take this story. It's about a man named Thomas, 73 years old, retired engineer, a man who once led teams, taught Sunday school, and never left the house without his shirt tucked in and his collar pressed. Thomas was proud of his routine. Every morning, wake up at 6, shower, brush his teeth, brew a cup of coffee, and take a walk around the block. He still made his bed with military corners, still ironed his clothes, still clipped his nails on Sundays. But one day, everything changed. His son had invited a few co-workers over. Thomas, as always, was happy to help. He made his famous cinnamon tea, brought out a plate of cookies, and joined them in the living room. As he was pouring tea, he heard it, a low murmur, followed by a soft chuckle. "Man, what's that smell? Smells kinda old in here." That was it. The words weren't cruel, not even meant to be heard. But Thomas did hear them, and in a second, something in him pulled back. He didn't say anything. He didn't make a scene, but he never sat in the living room with guests again. He started eating alone in the kitchen, avoided sitting close to his grandchildren, stopped volunteering, and little by little, he stopped looking people in the eye. You see, it wasn't just about the smell. It was about what that smell represented. In his mind, it meant he was no longer seen as capable, no longer welcome, no longer respected. And sadly, Thomas isn't alone. Thousands of older adults across the country experience the same quiet retreat. They begin withdrawing from family dinners. They stop offering hugs. They speak less, smile less, not because they've changed, but because they think the way others see them has. And that's the hidden cost of aging odor. It doesn't just sit on the skin, it burrows into identity, into confidence, into the belief that you still deserve connection, closeness, and love. But here's the powerful truth. This isn't irreversible. This isn't something you have to accept. Because what Thomas and many others didn't know is that the solution isn't complicated. It's not about expensive products or shame. It's about understanding what's causing the odor and taking a few smart daily steps to change it. Next, let's look at why soap alone doesn't work and what's really happening beneath the surface of your skin. The real cause and why soap won't work. If you're like most people, your first reaction might be, "I shower every day. How can this still be a problem?" That's exactly what many older adults say, right before learning that what's causing the odor isn't dirt, and soap can't touch it. Let's break it down. After the age of 60, your body doesn't just slow down, it changes how it works. One of the biggest changes happens in your skin's oil glands. These glands begin producing a compound called 2-nonenal, an oxidized fatty acid that simply wasn't present in your body when you were younger. This compound doesn't sit on the surface of the skin like sweat or grime. It forms inside the skin's oil layer, deep within the pores. And here's the kicker. Most regular soaps aren't designed to break down this kind of compound. So no matter how hard you scrub, if you're using standard soap, you're cleaning the top layer, but leaving the non-enol behind. And while you might not smell it, others can. Even worse, trying to cover it up with cologne, perfume, or deodorant only masks the issue temporarily. Often, it makes things worse by mixing artificial fragrance with the deep, oily smell underneath. That's why you may hear someone say, "I can still smell something even though they're wearing cologne." But odor isn't just coming from your skin. There are three major biological shifts that create a perfect storm. Reduced sweating. As we age, we sweat less. That might sound like a blessing, but sweating is how your body gets rid of internal toxins. When that slows down, waste builds up under the skin and starts to smell. Drier skin and mouth. Saliva naturally cleans your mouth and neutralizes odor-causing bacteria. But after 60, saliva production slows down. That's why many older adults begin to notice bad breath, even if they brush their teeth regularly. Oxidized skin oils. As mentioned, 2-non-enol builds up in your body oils, and normal soap can't break it down effectively. That's the real reason so many clean, disciplined elders still experience body odor. It's not about hygiene, it's chemistry. But there's good news. You can reduce this odor significantly and naturally. It's just about knowing where to clean, how to clean, and what products actually work. In the next section, we'll reveal the 3 hidden zones on the body that hold nearly 90% of age-related odor, and why most people skip them without realizing. The 3 hidden zones everyone misses. Most people think they know how to bathe properly, and for most of their lives they probably did. A warm shower, some soap, a quick rinse, simple. But as the body changes with age, that routine quietly stops being enough. Not because you're doing anything wrong, but because odor isn't just sitting on your arms or legs. It's hiding in places most people don't think to clean thoroughly. And it's these overlooked areas that are causing the strongest, most stubborn part of the aging smell. Behind the ears, under the arms, the groin, the folds of the belly, under the chest. These aren't just minor details. They're warm, damp, and often shielded from airflow, making them the perfect environment for bacteria and oxidized oils to settle. For older adults, these spots can hold odor long after the rest of the body has been cleaned. The skin here folds in on itself, stays warmer, and accumulates oils and sweat that soap barely touches if it's not scrubbed in properly. Hair is another silent contributor. The scalp, the chest, and even belly hair trap oils in ways that are easy to miss. When sweat dries in the hair and mixes with skin oils, it creates a smell that seeps into pillows, clothing, even your chair, and stays there. That's why even freshly showered individuals may still carry a scent hours later. And if you're not massaging shampoo into your scalp or cleansing body hair with a proper cleanser, it builds up day after day, unnoticed by you but obvious to those around you. Feet are another forgotten area. Not just the bottoms, but especially between the toes. Shoes trap sweat and socks soak it up. Without daily washing and drying, especially in humid or warm environments, odor compounds multiply. It clings to footwear and lingers in carpets, leaving a smell that seems like it's coming from everywhere when it's really just coming from your feet. And then there's the back. Not the easy-to-reach part, but that awkward middle area no one ever scrubs properly. It's exactly where your shirt absorbs sweat all day, and where non-enol builds up without anyone realizing. Most people skip this part entirely, simply because it's hard to reach. But it matters. Once you start focusing on these zones, scrubbing gently but thoroughly, using warm water and a mild, non-fragrant cleanser, you'll begin to notice something shift. That lingering scent, it fades. Slowly, yes, but noticeably. And for many older adults, that small change leads to something far more important: a hug that lasts a little longer, a grandchild who sits closer without wrinkling their nose, a quiet sense of dignity returning. Coming up next, we'll talk about what's happening inside the body and why no amount of washing will truly help unless you begin the cleanse from within. Detox from within. It's one thing to clean the outside of the body, but what most people don't realize is that the strongest smells of aging don't just come from the skin, they come from what's happening inside. And unless you start there, even the most thorough bathing routine will only offer short-term relief. The body is constantly releasing waste. Through sweat, breath, and urine, it's quietly working to flush out what it doesn't need. But after the age of 60, that natural detox system slows down. The skin becomes drier. Sweat glands become less active. The kidneys work a little harder. And all of that leads to one thing: waste getting trapped inside instead of getting flushed out. It often starts with something small. You don't feel thirsty as often, so you drink less water. Your skin becomes dull. Your breath feels stale. But you think it's just age. In reality, your body is quietly dehydrating, and that lack of hydration is what allows internal odor to build. Drinking cool water isn't enough either. Warm water, taken consistently throughout the day, works differently. It helps soften and flush internal waste, keep digestion moving, and allows toxins to leave the body naturally. It's one of the most powerful yet overlooked changes you can make. Just 5 or 6 glasses a day, spaced out, is enough to begin making a real difference in how your skin smells and your breath feels. But water alone isn't the full answer. Movement is part of the equation too. A gentle walk in the morning sun, not fast, not forced, just steady, can activate your body's sweat response. Not enough to drench your clothes, but enough to encourage those hidden toxins to rise to the surface and leave. It's like opening a valve that's been sealed for years. And as the body begins to move, even lightly, the scent it carries becomes lighter too. There's also a powerful habit that most people never try: a weekly soak. Not a hot bath with bubbles, but a warm soak with a pinch of salt or a few drops of natural cleansing oil. Sitting in that water for 15 or 20 minutes opens up the skin's pores. It lets old, trapped compounds rise to the surface and wash away. It's not about luxury, it's about restoration. These 3 habits, warm water, light movement, and intentional soaking, can cleanse the body in a way soap never will. They restore the balance between what's happening inside and what's showing up outside. And for many older adults, this gentle routine has been the missing link to feeling clean, fresh, and embraced again. In the next section, we'll explore another hidden factor that shapes how you smell, what you eat, how you smell. Most people think of food in terms of energy or weight, but very few realize just how much your meals affect how your body smells, right down to the scent of your skin and breath. Many older adults come to the same conclusion when odor becomes an issue. Maybe I need a stronger soap. But the truth is, even the best hygiene won't fully solve the problem if the source is inside. What you eat becomes part of your bloodstream. That bloodstream nourishes your skin, powers your glands, and eventually releases scent through your pores. And if your diet is off balance, that scent reflects it. A heavy diet of fried foods, red meats, strong coffee, overly processed snacks. These don't just slow down digestion. They create residue, waste your body struggles to eliminate. That waste then leaks out slowly through sweat, breath, and skin oils, even if you bathe twice a day. It's not something you notice overnight. It creeps in, slowly changing how you smell without any obvious trigger. But here's the good news. Just like food can cause odor, it can also clear it. Certain foods are packed with natural antioxidants, compounds that neutralize the internal waste that builds up with age. Fresh fruits like apples, grapes, and pears, bright vegetables like tomatoes, red cabbage, and spinach, even simple grains like brown rice or oats. These ingredients help your body stay clean from the inside, lightening not just your breath, but your skin's scent as well. One small change. Add 1 apple and 1 tomato to your day. That alone can begin to shift how your body smells within a few weeks. Another option, a morning smoothie made from cucumber, pear, and ginger. Light, refreshing, and powerful for detox. There's also garlic. Yes, garlic. While it's often blamed for strong breath, when eaten raw in very small amounts, it actually helps clear the digestive system and reduce internal odor over time. 1 small clove with warm water in the morning can have a surprisingly gentle cleansing effect. And don't forget the tongue. Many people brush their teeth daily, but forget to clean the surface of the tongue, where odor-causing bacteria thrive. A simple metal tongue scraper can remove what a toothbrush leaves behind. It only takes a few seconds, but the impact on your breath is immediate. What goes into your body each day doesn't just nourish it, it shapes the way the world smells you. And with just a few small changes, you can shift that scent from something people avoid to something that welcomes them closer. Next, we'll look at one final factor most people never consider: your environment. Clothes, bedding, and even stale air may be adding to the problem without you realizing it. The forgotten details. Sometimes the biggest changes come from the smallest habits, the ones we barely think about. And when it comes to aging odor, it's not just your skin or diet. It's your environment, what you wear, what you sleep on, even the air in your home. Let's start with clothes. As we age, it's common to reuse a shirt or a pair of pants for 2, maybe even 3 days. If it looks clean and doesn't smell bad to you, why not? But here's the issue. Your nose may adjust, but the fabric holds on to more than you realize. Natural oils, sweat, dead skin cells, they cling to your clothes even after one wear. And if your body is producing non-enol, that compound doesn't just vanish in the laundry. It can soak deep into your clothing fibers and linger, creating a smell that follows you even after a fresh shower. Then there's sleepwear, bed sheets, pillowcases. We spend hours lying in one spot, night after night. Our skin presses into fabric, releasing tiny amounts of oil and bacteria every time. After a few days, that buildup becomes noticeable, not always to you, but to someone else walking into the room. Washing sheets weekly, changing pillowcases twice a week, and making sure towels are fully dried before reuse can make a difference you'll actually feel. And if the weather allows, letting them dry in sunlight is even better. Sunlight has a natural deodorizing effect no dryer can match. Shoes are another culprit most people miss. We wear them daily, sometimes the same pair all week. But our feet sweat. That sweat seeps into the soles, the lining, the fabric. And unless you're rotating your shoes and wearing clean, breathable socks every day, that trapped moisture becomes a source of odor that no perfume can cover. A sprinkle of baking soda inside shoes at night can help, and if possible, leave them near an open window to air out. Finally, think about airflow. Many older adults keep windows shut, to stay warm, to avoid dust, to feel safe. But what that really does is trap scent inside. Rooms begin to smell stale, heavy, not because they're dirty, but because nothing is moving. Even opening a window for 10 minutes in the morning and evening can change the entire energy of a space. Air out the room, and you air out the memory of the smell with it. These forgotten details add up, and fixing them doesn't take much, just intention. Because when your clothes, home, and habits align with your body's needs, the results are powerful. And now, in the final section, we'll tie it all together. A simple routine you can follow daily to bring back that feeling of closeness and the confidence that may have quietly faded away. If this message spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. Share it with someone who deserves to feel close again. Leave a comment below and let me know which habit you'll start today. And if you want more simple, powerful ways to stay healthy and connected, hit like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.